I know you're gonna dig this.
And now, heard across the world, it's time for Third and One with your host, Ryan Hyde.
Welcome to episode 12 of Third and One podcast. Today's guest is a two-time Grey Cup champion. He won the CFL Rookie of the Year award in 2004, was a three-time CFL All-Star, a five-time West Division All-Star, and a one-time East Division All-Star. He had 9 straight seasons of over 1,000 yards receiving and is a lock to become a CFL Hall of Famer. Please welcome to the show, Nik Lewis.
What up, brother?
How's it going today, Nick?
I'm good. Blessed. I'll say that.
Yeah, me too. Hey, another day above ground is another day,
That's it.
Make the best of it.
That is it.
So I've got my my cat put away because she likes to cry when I'm doing podcasts. I gave my dog his bone and told him to be a good boy and to be quiet. So I got the family straight. I think we're good to go.
That's good.
So what have you been up to during the COVID pandemic?
Making life better. It's been good. When you go into something like this, it's actually crazy because I started this year out with a new motto that I called New Year, New Mountain, because I just felt like when you think of New Year's resolutions, everybody wants to be different. And then by February, they're back to the same one they were. So I started with New Year, New Mountain, because I knew every year if I approach it as a mountain, like you don't know the terrain, you don't know the weather, you don't know what, you just know that it's going to be hard, it's going to be a grind. And with that mentality, when COVID hit, I was already in the right mindset that, okay, I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be this, but I expected some hurdles along the way. I expected, the weather to get bad along the way, and we went with it. And it allowed me to set my feet and really start to work on what I had been planning on working on that I'd been putting off. And now I've came a long way in the last 4 months on that.
Wow. So yeah, like you said, that kind of set you off, in a right step into the COVID pandemic.
Yeah. So it was good. It was good, man. Cause we all can get busy, right? And we put ourselves, I work with 7 different companies. And I'm building my own company. I launched my own clothing line called Always Bet on You. See the hat here? So go all in on you. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things for me is like, I think, and through COVID, I think more people are seeing that, right? They're betting on themselves. Like you said, you started your podcast during COVID, right?
Yeah.
That's betting on yourself and just going out there and making it happen. And I think that's what we have to do more in life is to bet on ourselves and let's go chase our dreams.
I agree for sure. And it helps make the world a better place.
100%.
It really does. You're going to have to send me a link to that clothing line after the show. I'm definitely interested in checking that out.
I will do, man. I will do. My nephew, he's 19. He has around 700,000 YouTube followers. And I told him, I was like, what are you going to do with it? And he's like, I don't know. And I said, here, let's work some business together. So I'm doing all this business stuff. So I just want to incorporate some stuff for him. And so I came up with kind of positive affirmations. We did one, create, build, and conquer. So create the world you want to live in, build it, and then conquer it. Right. And that's just what it's all about. And then going all in on yourself. And I have one shirt called Hall of Fame Life. And it's just about, you don't need sports to be in the Hall of Fame of life. Right. So let's create that and celebrate the life that you built and created. And let's just go. And so a lot of it's built on that with he's 19, right? So he just turned 20. So I said, you do the designs. I'll come up with kind of the sayings and the concepts, and you do the designs and just be creative. And he's done an amazing job with it. As you can see on this all in right here, it's got like the Jack of Spades in there, right? Inside the all in, which is awesome. And So yeah, he's done all the designs, man, and he's been amazing at that.
That's awesome. I mean, it comes down to too being, the law of attraction, a positive mindset, and things will work out for you, right, one way or another. There's always going to be hurdles, like being a pro athlete, doing things now as you retired and moving on from the game. Things are going to happen, so you got to be ready for them.
Have to be ready for them. I think sometimes too we do things for the results, right? I think everything is result driven, and it's now that becomes with a lot of negative connotation. Because if I'm only doing things for the results, then it's going to be harder because I'm going to get down on myself. There's things that's going to happen in life that's going to make it even harder because all I want was the result. But now if I change my mindset and say, if I do the work, the results will happen. They might not happen today. They might not happen tomorrow, but they will happen. I just got to keep doing the work. And I think that changing that mindset and that mind frame like that, it totally puts you in a different space. Because just because at the end of 1 month or 1 year, you can look and say, well, if I wanted to be this a year from now and I'm not that, now I look at myself negatively.
Right.
But if I say I want to work to become this and don't put a timetable on it, but I work every day to do that, now at the end of a year, I'm like, damn, I'm close. I'm real close to being where I want to be or who I want to be and accomplishing what I want to accomplish.
Right. So you started the Lulu Logic podcast. How long ago did you start that, and what got you into podcasting?
January, yeah. In December, I just made up my mind. I think I was done coaching, and I enjoyed it, but I spent so much time away from my family. It was like I need to start to create and build around them because a lot of people sacrifice through your career. So one of the things I wanted to do was podcasts. I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to do a media company. So that was a part of it. And I was like, I had a TV show that was coming out this year before COVID hit. And so it's on the back burner till next season, right? Mm-hmm. But that's okay. And I'm okay with that. But I already look at how much better I am at just conversing with people on the podcast from when I first started with Stevie Baggs and Kevin Glenn to where I'm at today and how well it's gone. Mm-hmm. It's all experience, right? Everybody's got to practice, and this is just part of the practice and the experience, and to share some of these stories that are amazing.
Yeah, and I personally I really enjoy listening to your shows.
I appreciate it.
I usually try to catch them all when I can. When I'm free, it's usually at work in the middle of the night on night shift, and throw on some Lulu Logic and have it the night. It's good. And I'd reached out to you as well. I started my podcast and did a couple of shows. They went well. And then I went through, I was researching podcasts, and I found your show. I found the Lulu Logic show. And I listened to it, and I was like, wow, this guy was a player. He's got experiences in the game. You've got a relationship with a lot of these players that you have on your show. And I thought to myself, like, I can't do this. It's not that I was necessarily trying to compete with you, but I just felt like, my show is dead in the water. And I reached out to you, and, you gave me some positive affirmation and just said, hey, you know what, there's always room for greatness. And that really helped me. And so, thank you for that. I appreciated that.
I mean, it's so true. It's the truest, one of the truest things I've ever heard. There's always room for greatness, right? Your show shouldn't be like anybody else's. You're becoming great in what you're doing in your space. So as long as you take it serious enough and you always work to get better, there's always room for greatness, right? There is no competition. There's always room for greatness. That's awesome.
Exactly. So news broke last week that there's not going to be a CFL season this year after the league was unable to obtain a loan from the federal government. What are your thoughts on this, Nick?
Yeah, I think just going forward, they couldn't handle losing a lot of money this year. So putting more money into it to try to get this done and then have to go do it again next year. So I think the CFL is sustainable until 2022 without fans.
Okay.
Now, I hope that something can happen where they can have fans or some kind of capacity for fans. I'm looking forward to talking to the CFLPA here soon and trying to work with them and put some things together to help them and the players out. But as far as the league goes, man, I think they'll be all right. You know, you have a 18-month, 2-year window to get it where it needs to be. So I think the owners, and I think through this experience, they kind of understand how they want to attack next season, how they want it to go. And if there's no fans, I think you plan on no fans, and now it's only positive, right? So now if they say, okay, 25% of fans, cool, positive. 50% of fans, positive, right? So go into it thinking no fans, and we're okay. And then if you do get some fans along the way, then that's great.
I agree with that statement. With plan on there being no fans.
Yeah.
You know, I agree. And because the league is ticket sale driven revenue, I think chances are too that they're going to have to approach the government for a loan.
Yeah, well, or you just change the model, right?
Right.
I think the model's outdated. I think there's so much you can do with it, right? There's just so many things that you can do now with technology and in that realm. I mean, the game on TV right now is so good. Like you get the yellow marker, you get the announcers, you get the broadcasters, you get everything right there. The beers are cheaper from your own fridge than at the game. So you're getting all that. The only thing you don't get is the excitement of actually being there, right? If something great happens, you can say, I was there when that happened, right? And you can't get that experience sitting at home, watching it at home like you can at the game. So they just have to, I always use we, but they just have to learn how to improve the game. And by saying that is not, players based or changing rules, but we got to, some of these stadiums, Calgary Stadium, you got to improve the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, old, right? So you have to put some money into it, and you have to improve the experience so that now when the fans are going to the game, they're getting an experience that I don't want to sit at home anymore and watch this game. I want to go experience this live.
Yeah. You talk about the Calgary Stadium there, McMahon Stadium, which is funny.
Yeah.
I flew to Calgary last October and went to a Rider and Stampeder game. It was probably the coldest day of the year at that time anyways for October. And I froze my ass off for one. Number two, we went back and, inside the stadium to try and warm up, and it's all concrete. And I swear it was colder in the stadium than it was outside. And I looked around and I thought, wow, like this place is old. I mean, there's a lot of history there, but compared to BC Place Stadium, that's an old building.
It is. I mean, it's old. It's not really comfortable. There's a lot of things that needs to be upgraded. The bathrooms, the concessions, just doing an overhaul. But they're in a tough position because the University of Calgary owns that. So then the Stamps don't want to put, or the Flames organization didn't want to put a lot of money into something that they don't own. Right now they're putting money into it and they're told that they can use it or when they can't use it. And there's a lot of issues with it. So as of right now, I mean, I understand them. I wouldn't put money into it if I don't own it, right, or if I don't have the rights to use what I want to use and how I want to use it and things like that. So it's a tough situation. I was hoping they got a hockey and a new football stadium all in one, and that they were able to really pull that off. And I think it would have been so much better for the game, right?
Definitely. Well, I think too, with the province helped out Edmonton in getting their new hockey stadium arena. So I don't know, if they're going to want to jump into building a new football stadium in Calgary, right?
Edmonton got a big overhaul on their facility, their football facility, right? And changed their locker rooms, changed a lot of different things. So they did really well with that.
Definitely. So what age did you start playing football, Nick?
I think I was 9. I was in the 4th grade, and my friend had played when we were in the 3rd grade, my best friend, and he was talking about it. And, I've never been a huge football fan, so it was just like one of those things where, okay, I want to try it. So then I went out and had some success early, and yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
So looking back then, throughout high school, and I guess into college, you played Division II. Was it something that you thought that you could make a living doing and become a pro football player?
Not at all. I mean, when you're a Division II walk on, you don't even if you walk on to a Division II school and you think you're going pro, like you are
Dreaming.
I wouldn't even say dreaming. Like you just don't really, you can't concept that, because if you think about it, there's so many kids in Division I schools, and you're at a Division II school, and there's only so many players, right? If you look at both leagues combined, there's probably only about 2,200 players from the NFL to CFL.
Right.
So 2,200 players, and there's 119 D1 schools. Then you got the D1 AA schools.
Yeah.
Then there's Division II, right? And so you're looking at the schools. There's over 150 schools or 200 schools, and if you say, okay, well, the top two players on every team is not even going to get in, because now Alabama's got 7, Florida State's got 7, Texas got 7, Oklahoma's got 7. So now it just goes down and down. So you don't even think that that's a possibility. And, so it was just a grind. You go work, you grind, and then when it happened, and which is pretty cool.
At what point did you start to think that there was a chance that you could become a pro football player?
After my last college football game, the next morning I woke up to calls from agents that I had no idea knew who I was. And I started meeting agents and different things that had been watching me and paying attention. And they were like, hey, man, you can play pro football. I was like, really? Because in my senior year, there was guys be telling me all the time, like, hey, looking forward to seeing you on TV next year. And I'd be like, yeah, sure, cool. And, yeah, but once I started getting calls from agents, then, I realized, like, an agent's not going to just call you unless he believes that you can make it. Right. So I went to class like a regular day on that Monday, and then, yeah, I'm in class. I get out of class, and the answer machine, there's calls from agents, multiple messages to call them back and things like that. At first, I thought it was a prank.
That's funny. So at 5'10", 240 pounds, which is a pretty big dude, how did you end up becoming a receiver?
I was always small. When I was in college, I was 190. I played my last year at 195. I was 197 my first year in Calgary. Most people think I eat a lot. I don't eat. I eat once a day mostly, sometimes twice, but depends. But I drink my calories.
Yeah.
So it's once I hit 25, man, it was just everything changed. My dad is 6'2", about 260. My brother is 6'4.5", 285, and my brother's 11 years younger than me. All right, so from that standpoint, we're all built exactly the same. It was like I was just always super small, and then everything just started getting wider and wider, and it was what it was. Even when I was small, I never really had a six-pack, but, I was always in shape. I was always, shape is not a look. Shape is being able to recover from one event to the next, right? So that was always the biggest thing for me. I've had people come work out with me in the off season that can run all day, and they struggle to get through my workouts with my trainer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I ran every route like everybody else. I ran corner routes and go routes. I had to clear out for people. I had to do everything too. So, at the end of the day, it wasn't like I wasn't running routes, so.
Yeah. So before you came to Canada to play in the CFL, what did you know about the CFL?
I'd only seen one game. It was in 1995, the Grey Cup. I remember Doug Flutie and Jeff Garcia playing. So it was a snow game, I think. It was 94, 95. It was one there. But it was a snow game, and I just remember watching part of it on, I think it was on Fox Sports in the U.S., and I just happened to be flipping through the channels, and I seen it on. It's snowing out there, and they're playing. But I don't remember it enough to – I don't think I paid attention enough to actually know some of the guys who was playing. I wish I would have, because it was Calgary, right, where I ended up, and to see Pitts play and some of those other guys, Sapunjis and some of those other greats, Andre Johnson and those guys, man, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Did it take long for you to adjust to the Canadian style of playing football?
No. I felt comfortable in it with the motions and everything. I was never a speed demon, so it was always easier for me to come out of the slot. Right. I think my fastest time coming out was a 4.54, so I could run, but I wasn't running like Brandon Banks and all those guys. But so it was always easier to come out of the slot, and it was just working angles and doing things. And when you're young, all you're worried about is making plays. Just like we were talking about golf earlier. When you first start golfing, instead of counting your score, you should just count how many good shots you hit.
Right.
And once you get to the point where you're hitting enough good shots, then you can start counting your score. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think as a young guy, that's all I did was just count. Like, I was having good plays, and I'd make some great plays here and there. And I ended up starting my first preseason game in Calgary and starting the first game of the season. So it went pretty well.
Yeah, it did go pretty well, didn't it? So there's a lot of players out there, Nick, that would say that you were one of the toughest receivers to tackle after you made a catch. Basically, you'd run down the field like a bowling pin. Who are some of the toughest defenders, though, that you played against?
Oh, man. I always say the only two people that could guard me was the quarterback and the OC. If you didn't throw me the ball or call a play for me, that's the only way you could stop me. But there's a lot of great players on defense. And there's a lot of guys that when I first came in, there was a lot of man-to-man. And we've seen that kind of evolve into a lot more zone, a lot more combo coverages and things like that. So, but I always thought Brandon Smith was one of the better defenders, if not the best, that I'd go up against at practice a lot. And then I had a chance to go up against him when I was in Montreal. So I've always thought Brandon Smith was the best. There's other guys on that list. Corey Banks was really good in there. I felt like when I moved over to number 3 to the field inside, going against a lot of those linebacker types, the bigger bodies, I felt like they couldn't cover. And I always thought my strengths were my hands and my route running, right? So I could run routes and I had good hands. So I felt like it was easy in there because I was going against bigger bodies, but then they weren't like good cover guys. They'd probably be safeties in NFL or, that can come down and make tackles. They were better tacklers, but as far as covering somebody, they couldn't cover.
Right.
Yeah. They probably didn't even make their bed. Can't cover that bed up.
So as I alluded to earlier, Nick, in the intro, you had 9 straight seasons of over 1,000 yards receiving. How are you able to stay so consistent during your career?
Wake up every day to compete. It was kind of crappy that the way it ended, the streak ended there in BC, August 17th, 2013, when Solly fell on my leg and broke my leg. And it's just one of those things where I was on pace for my 4th straight 1,200-yard season. And I just knew, like, I felt like I was in the prime. That was the true prime of my career. Because I was going to go, I was thinking, okay, this would be number 10, 1,200, 4 straight years. And then in 14, there was going to be number 11, tied me with Terry Vaughn. And then 15, it would have put me over Terry Vaughn at 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt good. And, the only reason I can still consider that being the possibility is because I look at being back. It took about 2 years to get back. I mean, 14, I was in a lot of pain. And 15, Montreal didn't know how to use me. And so then it got to the point to where they were just like, you know what? We just want to put the ball in your hands. So I got the ball around the line of scrimmage a lot. And I was like, man, I run routes. Like, don't just give me the ball here. And I'm working for all my yards instead of being able to go out there and run routes. And when they start letting me do that in 2016, I put up over 1,100, right? And
as a 34-year-old.
Yeah. So that was to me, that says, okay, well, if I'm putting up 1,116 in the next to last year of my career, then I definitely could have done it the 3 years prior to that if I would have been healthy.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I look back on it, it was good, man. 9 straight years. It was just consistency. The consistency of going out there and getting it done. I was fortunate to play with a lot of great players. Spent most of my career with Hank and Cope and Rambo and Joffrey and Cornish and Romby Bryant and guys like that, Ryan Thelwell and Brett Ralph, that there was not a lot of pressure and you couldn't really just double any one of us, right? So I was fortunate. And then when Huff came in with his system, it was just such a great system to be a part of. And when Dave took over, it was the same thing. So just great communication, great coaches, and great teammates. It really makes it a lot easier.
For sure. A lot of those Calgary teams are stacked too. Like you said, like Cornish, and the list goes on and on, right? So.
Yeah, I think back to even in 2014, I mean, Eric Rogers was on our practice roster for the whole year.
Wow.
Kamar Jordan was on our practice roster in 2012, 13, and 14.
Wow.
Right. And so you had those guys. Mo Price was on our practice roster in 2009, and then he signed off our practice roster to go to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, we've always had a lot of great talent there and at receiver, and that's a part of it, man. You come into training camp, you're competing for a job. You don't want to hear about what you did last year. You got to compete for that job, and you got to go out there and earn it. And that's one of the best feelings at the end of training camp, when you earn your job. You know that, it's time to go do work, but that you earned it. It wasn't given to you. You earned it, right?
Yeah. Was there a team, Nick, or a defense in particular that you felt stat-wise that you're just going to go out there and ball out and just deliver and basically, go unchallenged every game?
Sash.
Yeah. So those are the big games. You're like, okay, this is it. Here I come.
100%.
And the reason why?
I mean, it's a big game. It turned into a big game. And one of the things is I've always loved playing in front of their fans. Their fans are so great and they're such fanatics that, that's what you want to play in front of. You enjoy that atmosphere. So when you walk in there and they're loud and they're yelling and everything's going on, it becomes an enjoyable experience to go out there and entertain them. I mean, everywhere I go now, they're like, man, I hated you. And now they like me. But, this is one of the things, though. You enjoy playing in that atmosphere, right, where the fans are crazy. The fans are going wild, and you get the opportunity to go out there and just put on a show, right? If you go somewhere and you try to put on a show and the fans are like, whatever, we don't really care. We're just kind of here. It's not the same feeling, but you always knew they were going to be there and they were going to be active, and you just want to go put on a show, man. And I think overall, if you ever broke it down, I'm probably sure I had most of my yards in SAS.
So would you say the Saskatchewan Stadium was your favorite to play in? Mosaic there?
No. Them locker rooms are horrible. Even the new stadium, the Visitors locker room is horrible. But no, my favorite stadium playing was always Montreal. I love playing in Montreal.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just the view and everything.
Right. So you were the fourth player in league history to reach the 1,000 catch plateau. Nearing the end of your career, did you think that was an achievable statistic?
Going into I was going to retire after 2014. After we won the Grey Cup, I was prepared to walk away. I was talking to Huff about potential coaching opportunities. I talked to Corey Chamberlain about coming to SAS to be the receiver coach. And, then Jim Pop calls me and extended my career. But I said going into 2016, if I hit 80 catches, I would come back to go for the record. And I ended up hitting, I think, 102.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, got to go for it. I was only like 55 away or 53 away or something like that going into my last season. And I was just thinking, man, I could do this in the first 10 games, right? Just go get 5 catches a game. I mean, the coaches know I'm close to the record. The quarterbacks know I'm close to the record. I should be able to go get 5 catches a game for the first 10 games and things like that. And, so I never thought about it until 2016, like going into that 2016 year, was like, let's go make a run for it.
Yeah.
We got it done.
You definitely got it done. So, Nick, you are the all-time CFL receptions leader with 1,051. That's 22 receptions ahead of Superman Leroy Simon. What does that record mean to you?
Consistency, right? I think it's just a level of consistency, and being consistently good creates greatness. So to know that I was consistent over the course of my 14-year career, and just know that every year that I stepped on the field with those teammates, they always knew what to expect out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And, through the down year of missing a lot of games in 2014, I missed 5 or 6 games. I think I missed 5 games in 2017 and things like that. But other than that, like if you threw me the ball, I was going to catch it and we was going to make some extra yards. So I think it just for me, that's what I think about is consistency of the grind and the work. You put the work in and you can become consistent on the field, and that's the results.
For sure, that's the results. As you approached the G-Roy record, were you able to put the record aside and just go out there and play football, or was it constantly in the back of your head?
No, I think the only time it was in the back of my head was there was a stretch. I think we played Winnipeg, Toronto, Winnipeg. And my mom was coming to a game, to the back-to-back, and then my dad was coming to one. So it's like they wanted to be there when I broke the record. And so my mom ended up being there. And I had 11 catches that game, I think it was. And I think I had 3 catches in that one drive that actually did it. But that was the only thing that was like, oh, it'd be really cool. And my daddy came like the week before.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it was like, it's going to happen as long as I stay healthy. But I wasn't on the field like actively. I'm close to the record. I mean, the Winnipeg game, once I got to, I think I had like 6 or 7 catches in the first half. Then I got to the point to where it was like, I think I can get there today. And the funny part is I woke up on game day. I was, what was it? I think I was 11 the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up on game day 10 catches away from it.
Wow.
Because they said they went back and watched every catch, and they saw that they missed a catch.
Okay.
So, but the bad part is the catch they said was for 0 yards. And I was like, that's crazy. How am I going to miss a catch and then it ain't no yards? So it was actually pretty cool because then I was like, okay, well, I'm only 10 away now instead of 11 away.
Yeah.
Right. And, it turned out to be a great day.
Definitely did. So you won the 2008 Grey Cup in Montreal against the Montreal Allouettes and the 2014 Grey Cup in Vancouver against the Hamilton Ticats. Do you have a favorite between the two?
Excuse me. No, they're both good, man. 2008, winning the first championship I ever won like that. And it was just such a great feeling. I had 11 catches for 122, and it was just like go out there, you're young and you make plays. And then in 2014, I'm going into it as possibly the last game of my career. I'm a vet, Mo Price, Joe West, Marquay McDaniel, Chris Bauman, and Simon Charbonneau, and Eric Rogers, and all these young guys that were a part of our receiving corps, to go out there and just be a leader, right? Show up there every day and lead those guys.
Mm-hmm.
The days I wasn't healthy, help make sure they're prepared to play games, and make sure that I could do everything I can as a leader. And what I could do physically in 2008, I did mentally in 2014, right?
Okay. Yeah.
There were times I couldn't even go through walkthrough the day before a game. Like my ankle would be hurting so bad I would have to skip walkthrough.
Wow.
Right. So it was a lot of pain, a lot of that scar tissue breaking down and stuff. 14 was a hard year for me. It was a very hard year for me, physically and mentally, to try to overcome all those things, to just keep working and just keep working and keep working. So they're both different, right? In 2008, I was just one of the better players, and I got to make plays. And in 2014, I was just one of the leaders that had the opportunity to lead men into those games, and we got it done.
Yeah. So you played your final 3 seasons with the Montreal Allouettes, which we kind of talked a little bit about earlier. What was your time like in Montreal?
I loved it.
Loved it, yeah.
Man, I hated the fact that we lost. I thought if we had better coaching, we'd have been better. But if you look at the quality of guys I got to take the field with, John Bowman, Billy Parker, Chip Cox, Cash, and then on offense, man, SJ and Fred Stantz, Sam Jaguar, Tyrell Sutton, Brandon Rutley, Steph Logan, like the names go on. And even in training camp, my first year there, we had Chris Rainey and Brandon Whitaker, be with. So there's so many talented guys, right, that I got the chance to suit up with. Duron Carter when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a great experience to be able to insert myself into that locker room and just meet a bunch of veterans. Kyrie Saber was there. You just meet a bunch of veterans, Marco. I mean, I almost feel like I'm leaving people out, and there's just so many but there were great guys. They were great guys, great men, and to be able to know that I took the field with those guys, I wouldn't trade that for anything. That was an experience of its own, just to be a part of that.
Who's the funniest player you ever played with?
What is that?
Who's the funniest player you ever played with?
Oh, man, there's some characters. Tad Cornegay is pretty funny. Tad Cornegay is pretty funny.
All right. The reason why I asked that is Jeremiah Johnson says it's Chris Rainey. You just mentioned
Chris is hilarious.
Yeah.
Chris Rainey's hilarious.
I've heard that. I follow him on Instagram, and some videos on there are pretty crazy. Just some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, right?
Chris Rainey is hilarious. No, there's some characters now. There's been quite a few characters that have been very funny, and But Chris Rainey's definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
He's hilarious.
When you started playing in the CFL, did you think you were going to end up 5th all time in career receiving yards and have 71 touchdowns?
No, I think when I first started, man, I was, like I said earlier, it was Division II walk-on to last player to sign to the Calgary Stampeders roster. And I think it was just make the team. And then after making the team, it was like, okay, go play better. And then in 2005, coming in my second season, I remember Jim Barker told my agent, we don't even think Nik can make this team. We think he was just a good player on a bad team.
Wow.
And, they brought in Marte Jenkins and Kenyon Rambo and Jermaine Copeland. And So we had a lot of guys. And then they were like, well, we're bringing in guys. And it was an overhaul. But I went out there and, Bark said I was better than he thought I was at first. And once you see me every day, then that you can start to see it, and which was good. So it was for me, every year was a fight for my job. I remember Ted Heller in 2006 or 7 called me and was like, man, people think you're done. I was like, really? Well, they think, that maybe you're done now, or, every year it's the same thing. It's the same story. I don't know if Nick can do it again, because they couldn't understand it, right?
Okay.
They couldn't understand because I wasn't super fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't tall. I wasn't this. I wasn't that. So they were just like, oh, that's just another year. He's definitely done after now. Oh, that's just another year. That's just another year. And then you just keep stacking them together and keep stacking them together. Right.
Next thing you know, you've built a whole career out of it.
Yeah, you can't rate the heart, man. And what I had mentally, knowing the game inside out the way I do it mentally, allowed me to be so much better.
So how did you learn the game so well mentally? Was it just a lot of studying tape and just, reviewing, or like?
No, just understand. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like Rain Man when it comes to. I love board games, and I
Okay.
love the art of figuring things out.
Yeah.
And once you learn how things work together,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like a mechanic, right? How a car works together. And I can go out there and I can see spots on the field where I know if I get to the spot, I'm going to have this catch. Or if this guy rotates here, I know who's getting the ball in our offense. Right. And we'd be at practice sometimes and I run routes and I never look back at the ball. And they're like, why aren't you looking back? I'm like, because I know the ball's going over there.
Right.
And they're like, how you know that? Because the defense just told me that. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't take rocket science. I mean, if the quarterback throws me the ball, he messed up. Right. So at this point, right. So for me, it's just understanding how everything works together.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In the run game with different D-line fronts, they're going to funnel you certain places. They want to funnel you to certain people. They want to protect certain people. Right. So it's all about understanding the structure and understanding how it works together.
So it's almost like paying attention to the finer points and also paying attention to detail.
100%.
And making sure, being visual of your surroundings.
If a DB lines up inside of me, that tells me he does not want me to get inside of him.
Right.
So everything he's going to do is protect his inside.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can act accordingly.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
But he's still got to guard the outside too. Right. So I can't just run to him because he's going to go further inside.
Right.
So learning how to set people up like that and manipulating DBs to do what you want them to do,
Mm-hmm.
Flip their hips and win the route.
Yeah. Did you do a lot of trash talking in your career?
100%. 100%. Gave Baron Miles a wet willy. It's the only time I ever heard him cuss.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Through his ear hole in his helmet, like on the field after a play.
Wow. I'm sure he didn't appreciate that too much.
No, he hated it. We still laugh about it today, But another one of the great men that played a part of this, that's been a part of this league for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who inspired you the most during your career?
Jermaine Copeland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think getting Jermaine in Calgary was huge for my career because at that point I was young. I'd had some success. We had some conversation. He was like, man, look, don't be a talented receiver that bounces around from team to team because your attitude and everything. He's like, just let's go do this. And he goes, part of the reason I came here is because of you. Let's go be great together.
Yeah.
And just hearing that, like, he's been there, done it, and done things. And that's how we rocked it, man, Batman and Robin. And, he poured a lot into me that allowed me to become better, not just as an athlete, but as a person. Right. So, yeah, Jermaine Copeland. But, all those guys, man, from Kenyon Rambo to Ryan Thelwell to all those guys that were older than me. Even my first year, hanging around Albert Connell and Salacio Sanford and Wayne McGarity, and just getting the knowledge of being pros and understanding how to, better myself as a professional athlete, how to carry myself as a professional athlete. Those are the things that it's very hard, right?
Yeah.
I was getting $3,500 a month Pell Grant, or $3,500 a semester in Pell Grant. So you're looking at the money coming in August that's going to last you through December, and now I'm making $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 every week,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now it's like you got to learn how to deal with it. I got to Calgary with $200 in my pocket, so there's big adjustments and changes that happen over that, right? When you're looking at the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, for sure. And if you got these other guys, showing you the ropes and how to conduct yourself, or how to save a bit of money, it definitely helps, right? For sure.
Yeah, got to pour into the young guys, man, because their only focus should be making the team and being a part of the team.
Yeah.
But that's where leadership comes in, of taking responsibility for the people in your group and letting them know, like, there's so much more that I don't want you to focus on, but you got to learn,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got to learn it. But you still got to take the time to make sure you cover you check all your boxes when it comes to getting ready for the games and staying healthy and doing all this other stuff, right?
Yeah. Was there a player that you tried to craft your game after?
Michael Irvin.
Okay. Yeah.
Michael Irvin, yeah. 100%. I thought I played just like Mike. I was physical in the run game. You remember the Eagles had to draft Bobby Taylor that was like one of the first big DBs to try to control Mike, right? Because Mike was beating up on the DBs, making big plays. And I think that's what it is, man, is like you just have to have that mentality. You can't dominate somebody just by going out and putting up 150 on them.
Right.
You dominate them by smashing them every play, by, you make them leave the game feeling like, I never want to play this guy again.
Yeah.
Right. That's how you dominate somebody, right?
Yeah.
I never want to see this guy cross me again, because I know I got to play running downs now. I know that he's going to come and put his hands all over me. He's going to try to throw me down. He's going to try to knock me down. He's going to punch me in the face. He's going to do everything. And then when the ball's in there, he's going to go make plays.
Yeah.
Right? And they hate that, because with other receivers, they go out there, just jive, pity pat around a little bit, then go make some plays. With me, no, I'm about domination. Yeah. So if I want to dominate you, I got to dominate you every play. I can't just dominate you when I get a chance to get the ball. Somebody only get the ball 5 times. I can't dominate you if we have 70 plays and I only get the ball 5 times.
Yeah.
So the only way I can dominate you is every play, and that's the mentality.
And that's the way you played?
100%.
Wow. Yeah. What do you miss most about playing the game of football?
I don't.
You don't? You don't miss it at all?
No, not at all.
How come?
Because I don't think I ever loved football like that. I just knew it. I think I just knew it, and, the competition is the only thing maybe, because when you get the opportunity to compete against some of the best in the world at something, like we're thinking, we said 2,200 people, right? So 2,200 people, that's one of the top 0.0001% in the world that you get to compete against. And that's fun to me. Competition is fun to me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't play board games with the family because they don't understand my competitive levels, right? So getting the competition for me is awesome. But in that respect, if there was anything, it's just the competition, the ability to wake up and compete against some of the best people in the world, just to see where you stand, right?
Wow. Can't play board games with the family.
It's rough, man. It's rough. I can't give you nothing.
Yeah. So you're also not the kind of guy I want to play any kind of video games with? No Madden or anything like that?
No. Madden's easy now. Madden's like, I can tell off your safety structure what defense you're running.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Madden's like, and I don't like playing Madden with people because I like authenticity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most people play Madden, they run no huddle, and they just audible all the routes.
Right.
That's not authentic, right? Let's be authentic in what we're doing. Like, let's line up and play the game. I don't have time for people to be audibling routes all the time. Like, that's not authentic, right?
No.
I mean, if you want to be a great Madden player, then maybe that's what you do. But for me, let's talk strategy. Let's actually go out here and put this game out and play the game.
Yeah. Have you played against Manny Arsenault at all? I see him. He's usually trash talking somebody on Facebook.
No, I know Sean Lemon plays those guys, man. Sean Lemon plays a lot,
Yeah.
and I heard he's pretty good. So if I play anybody in anything, it's probably 2K.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I play a lot of 2K and stuff. So
Yeah. Did you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
yeah, I ate chicken bacon ranch sub every game day at home. It was 6-inch sub if it was a afternoon game, and a foot long if it was a night game.
Okay.
So that was the only thing I ate all day of the game, and then I'd eat after the game, like wherever I went, like Moose McGuire's we usually go to, but yeah, that was it. And then yeah, I said my prayers. I probably prayed so much, yeah, said my prayers, and that's pretty much it, man. Just as far as rituals go, just make sure I say my prayers and get my chicken bacon ranch sub.
So like one of the superstitions I had when I played ice hockey, and I unknowingly found myself doing this as an adult, was I would put everything that I could on the right side of my body on first. And I still do that to this day unknowingly. And I clued in, like, whoa, like what the hell? I'm still doing this, right?
I put my right shoe on first. I always put my right shoe on first.
Yeah.
My
Are you
right
right-handed?
shoe- Yeah.
See, I'm left-handed, right? So
Yeah.
doesn't
I
make
just
a lot
always
of
put my
sense.
right shoe on first. So I can put my socks on or whatever, both socks on, then I put my right shoe on, then my left shoe. That's every day. I've never put my left shoe on before my right shoe.
Right.
That's just unconstitutional.
So your understanding of the game and the fundamentals involved allowed you to transition into coaching after you retired. Was coaching something that you saw yourself doing after you retired?
Yeah, that was always the dream. That was my dream job, to be a coach. I never thought I was going to play professional sports. Never thought I would coach professional sports, but I always wanted to coach. I've been training kids now out of Texas for 12 years. My last group just went to college. I have one at Utah, a freshman at Utah, a freshman at Alabama, a redshirt sophomore at Northwestern, and I just got a freshman at North Dakota. So just training kids, man, it's allowed me to be so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love the art of it, right? So coaching to me is the mental side. It's like a board game, right? This guy rushes. How can we stop him?
Mm-hmm.
How can we beat this blitz? How can we do this? So it's all mental, and I thought that's what made me a great player, was the mental aspect of it. So now going into coaching, I felt like I got to use what I was actually great at.
Right.
So it was fun. I loved it.
So last year you were the running backs coach with the BC Lions. How did that come about?
Just talking to Clay, man, and we were talking about me joining the staff, and I said, man, I'd really like to be the running back coach.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. And, because he knows we've been good friends since he came to Calgary in 2009 as a player. And we used to always hang out then. And, I still stay at his house when I go to Calgary sometimes. And it's part of the thing, man, that to be an OC, I didn't want to ever have to depend on an O-line coach to tell me how something needs to be done.
Okay.
Right. So for me to work with Brian Chu every day, which is a tremendously smart human being, for me to work with Brian Chu every day was amazing. One, to get to know, because I understood fronts. I understood fronts and why defenses ran these fronts. I had to call the fronts in Calgary, right? So I understood that because it's a part of the mechanism that makes it work on the back end, right? So everything works together. But I didn't understand why I would block Charleston Hughes and Micah Johnson and those guys differently, or why you need to get different things in place, right? I could see it, like, yeah, we can't block Charleston one-on-one in these sets. But now why are we changing it, and how can we set something to where it stays consistent for the O-line so they don't mess it up? Right. So learning those things like that has helped me grow tremendously over the last year. And by the end of the year, man, I was drawing up my own protection plans, and I was doing all those things. And so if I ever did return to football and I came back and coached, I could be an OC now because I know the pass game, I know the run game, I know protections, and I know it all. And now I'll just go out and get people that's smarter than me to make it better.
Yeah.
Right. But at least I can have that conversation with an O-line coach and say, well, wouldn't this be better? I can't say that if I don't know what's going on. Right. If I wouldn't coach receivers and then let's say a year from now I go become an OC, I haven't sit down with an O-line coach and talked about all this stuff and the ins and outs on everything.
Yeah.
Right. I'm breaking down all the film last year and everything. So it was a great experience, man. I definitely enjoyed it.
Do you see yourself coaching in the CFL in the future?
Well, they're cutting pay and they're cutting jobs.
Yeah.
Right. For me, right now, it's not in the best interest of me and my family to, like, my second year in the league, I made more money than I made last year coaching.
Wow.
And coaching, you're putting in 14 to 16 hours a day. So I'm at the stadium at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm not leaving until 9, 10 o'clock at night. So my family can't even come see me because even if they come out there, I'm gone all day.
Yeah.
Right? So there's not a lot of freedom. You put in so many hours because there's so much stuff to get done. But at the end of the day, I just think that if you can improve the game and if you can improve the model, then it should allow for coaches to get paid more and players to get paid more. And I think that's ultimately what you want because, I've had bad coaches.
Yeah.
And I refused to say I was going to be a bad coach. Brandon Rutley and John White both said I was the best running back coach they've ever had.
Wow.
Right. John White had his first 1,000-yard season.
Yeah.
Right. Brandon Rutley averaged 85 yards, just over 85 yards a game that he started in those 4 games. Right. Like, guys were getting better. Jamel Lyles came out there and was averaging over 20 yards a carry. Mackey went down. Mackey played the half the season with a major injury. He had a major surgery that he was fighting through the whole year. And Rio comes in as a rookie who's not even supposed to be a contender of playing. He's so smart. He understands it. But he takes his craft seriously, and he was out there every day willing to learn. And he would come up to me and say, hey, can we get some extra work after practice? We worked on blocking. We worked on technique of blocking, footwork and blocking, hand placement, how to do it. And he went out there. I remember when Mackey finally decided to get the surgery, Clay came to me and says, should we bring in another fullback? I said, no, Rio can do it. That's how much I trusted in him. And he did it. The first time down the line, though, he motions down and he falls down and misses his block on defensive end. And everybody's looking at me like, I thought you said he could do it. I said, he can.
Just give the boy a chance.
But he did it, and he did a great job at it. And I believe they're in great hands because I think they have 2 of the best fullbacks in the league that can not only catch the ball and can not only block, but they're versatile. I mean, you see David Mackey last year with a messed up knee hurdle a guy on the sideline, right?
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
that.
my gosh. He came to the sideline. He was smiling, and I was like, man, where'd that come from? I had so much fun. I have so much passion for the growth of others.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the best thing about us was the bond in our locker room, the bond in our room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between all the guys from John to Brandon, being leaders, to Jamel and Mackie and Rio and Wayne Moore, coming in every day wanting to work. And we just had a great bond. And I had a great time. And, you know, those dudes, I tell them all the time, like, if you need me, call me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was surprised that John White and Brandon Rutley never knew defensive fronts.
Really?
So when we're talking defensive fronts, like an over front, under front, you know, eagle fronts. So all of them, you're trying to funnel people different ways, right?
Yeah.
And when I was giving them tests at the beginning of the year, they couldn't label the fronts. But once they bought into it at about week 3 to actually learn these fronts, John would come to the sideline and be like, man, this is so much easier. Right. It's almost like Nick Cannon on drumline, playing the drums without being able to read the music.
Right.
You're just guessing and using talent every play.
Yeah.
And I tell them, like, look, you should never use talent until you get to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
You should never use talent. And as a receiver, you shouldn't use talent until you got the ball in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have to use energy to get open, then you definitely can't do anything after the play.
Right.
I mean, after the catch, because you wasted all your energy getting open.
You're done. Yeah.
But that should be effortless.
Right. Yeah. Rutley and White had really good years last year. That was a really good tandem for BC.
Yeah, I just wish we could have got them both on the field more together. You know, they're both had some injuries, and they're both a little older. They're not older. I mean, they could both still play another 5 years. But it's one of those things where I felt like if as a team, if we could have got them both on the field more at the same time,
mm-hmm.
And they didn't have to wear themselves down during the game,
mm-hmm.
I felt like, you know, we could have a little bit better in a balanced attack offensively.
So you're not going to believe you just showed up, and I know we're running out of time. Should we let his late ass in here or what?
Yeah. Let him in so I can talk some shit to him.
All right, here he comes.
Mm-hmm.
Dante, where you at? There he is.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
What's up?
Dante, you're late, buddy.
Hey, man, my bad.
looks like you're doing the grind.
No, I'm at the school. I work at the high school, and then I work at the junior college.
Nice.
What's up, Nick?
Man, I'm just up here hanging out, man, chilling. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. I'm blessed. I can't complain.
That's good.
Same old, getting to it.
That's the best way to do it. That's the
Man.
best way to do it.
All right, fill me in. Where I'm at? Where y'all at? What I miss?
So we're actually almost near the end of the show. But I did skip over a couple questions for Dante and Nick together. So you guys must have had some crazy battles against each other. Is there anything that stands out to you guys, you know, over your playing careers against each other where, you know, you guys had some big battles and crazy times?
No,
I didn't really go up against Dante too much, man. He over there with the stationaries.
But y'all used to put y'all stationaries in motion on me, man. Y'all used to, boy. It was So Nick was predominantly in the slot. So him and Corey more often than not would have some battles, and they move you over to the field side. You fool with Rhino, but I hated tackling your ass. And like for me, I'm a physical dude. I got size and shit, but I was like, man, we hate dealing with this motherfucker. We play Calgary, got to tackle Nick ass. But no, you very, very competitive. Always have respect for what you brought to the game, especially to the offensive side of the ball. Because I was a running back my whole life until I played nothing but corner when I got to college. So I know how it is. And for me, never was like the finesse dude. I ain't mind sticking my face in there. I ain't give a shit. But like you brought a toughness to the position when generally, and I know some of my homeboys that play receiver gonna get a little perturbed by this, but from the way I look at receivers, like y'all soft. So, you know what I mean? You brought a toughness.
And that's how I look at DBs.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you got to impose your will on people, and I know you, Jay Rich, Kenyon.
Kenyon, yeah.
Will probably be the guys that are okay. All right, I know I be doing my thing, but I really got to turn it up a little notch because they gonna try to match it. You know what I mean? So
I always said Kenyon was the best receiver I've been around.
Easy.
Because that dude right there, 4-2-1, could run any route in the playbook, and he can get up out of there real quick. And it was just like, if he didn't have arthritis in his Achilles, right? He had that 1 year in 2008, and in 2009, Biggie tore his ACL with the horse collar. But then that was kind of like, I felt like 2009, 10, first game back against Montreal, took a slant 100 yards off of off a torn ACL, right? So that dude right there is special.
See, I played it being, I'm from California too, so I'm about 6 hours away from Kenyon because I was in Oakland and he's in Long Beach. So knew of Kenyon when we was in high school, but got a chance to play. And see, I tease him about this too. He ain't had no catches my senior year when we went to when Fresno went to Ohio State.
Oh, okay.
He had no catches. So we talk about that every now and then. But he was probably one of the most complete guys. Other than I played against Freddie Mitchell in college. I played against Pat Johnson my freshman year. Kevin Dyson. Who else? Chad Johnson was. So I'm gonna say out of the guys that were real polished when we was in college, you knew that man they gonna be able to play early in their pro career. Ocho Kenyon was one of them dudes too, man.
Yeah.
He had he could run. He wasn't a small guy, 6 foot, strong.
You seen Steve Smith?
Steve Neck. He was okay. So when I was a junior, we go play Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl. Back when before Mountain West, it was just the Western Athletics Conference. Yep. He had a halo on though, like he did something to his neck, so he didn't play that game. So we ended up losing 17-16. But Anderson, that played for the running back that played for Denver, he had like 254. But he was like 26 because he went to the Marines and shit. So he was an older guy in college, but that dude was a load. But they only beat us by 1 point. But that dude had 254 rushing. But Steve, we missed him because he had that neck issue. But he was another guy. As you just, man, I've had the pleasure of competing against and with some of the best guys, and it's amazing. Even Romby had that gas.
Romby got gas. He got that track run. He just. But you know what? The biggest thing is when we look at the dynamics, and this is one of the best things that people always ask me, like you asked me earlier, best DBs. And I always put Corey Banks in there because of our battles. And I say this. I said I've always had my best games against Corey Banks, but I've also had my best preparation against Corey Banks. Because you got to prepare differently and better than just about anybody else, right? And those were in Ottawa days when he was in Ottawa and they were playing 90% man, and things like that. But when you look at a core, and I had J.R. Ruffin on, I've had my podcast, I've had Ryan Phillips on, and we talk about the core of y'all, just the smart and intelligence. Like, there's a lot of talented players, but to be intelligent, you, Corey, RP, and Tad, Tad know the game inside out, right? Lynn J. Shell, right over there, Josh Bell. Like, when you look at these cores, Byron Parker. You know what I'm saying? So and then David Sanchez. Well, like the cores that y'all have had for years in BC, it's kind of like the receiving cores in Calgary. Yeah. And I can go through the list of the guys with Ryan Thelwell and Brett Ralph and Romby and Elijah Thurman and Cope and just go on the list, Marquay and Eric Rogers and, what I'm saying? And we get on that list of Mo Price and Joe West. There's so many of those guys.
Right. I think, and I said this before in an interview and podcast. I'm like, when I got in the league in 2004, you talking about you had Joe, Ed Hervey, you had your Jason, you had your Terry Vaughn, you had
Mookie Mitchell.
Yeah, Mookie Mitchell. You had your boy in Toronto, Miles.
Yeah, Tony Miles.
Tony Miles was nasty with the route.
Number 15.
Listen to
that 1-5.
And then you had
Travis Moore,
T Moore, because me and T Moore joke. Because when I got in the league, him and Matt Dominguez was over there causing havoc in Saskatchewan. So,
Jay Rich was over there too.
Young Jay Rich. But see, this was before he knew the game and talking to him, getting him out of his game and stuff. But he developed in such a real good receiver, man, because he had obviously the size was crazy, but he wasn't the fastest dude, but he knew how to post you up. He knew how to use his body. He had real good big hands. And, you talking about we came in that era where you had, like, real guys. Like, you had to prepare.
Yeah.
Just like, whatchamacallit in Montreal. Kerry Watkins, I ain't going to lie. I put him up there, too.
Kerry Watt was real. And then
he was real.
Even Winnipeg had Milt.
Man, look.
Had Terrence Edwards.
When I was living
what's his name?
Terrence.
No, it's D Strong. D Strong.
He came and played with us.
You guys could just go off all day naming names.
D Strong. Dude, there were so many guys.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had guys.
I'm talking about greats. Mm-hmm. And then when you had the, like you alluded to earlier, the preparation. So, like, remember we used to joke before the game, Marshall, get ready for that double move. Because I sit on route. But I just, so it was the best.
You're a squatter.
it was
you
like
live on out routes.
So it was like, well, once I figured out, okay, look, I'm quick enough to get in transition, and it's not like the NFL to where after 5, it was more like college where you could chicken fight until the ball is in the air.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell, once I figured that out, I was like, oh, man, I ain't backpedaling.
And then, but when you and Corey linked up, you could see a switch. It's like Eddie Davis and Omar Evans.
Yeah.
I mean, Omar Morgan, right? Because
Morgan.
now you're like, hey, I'm jumping this out route. If that inside receiver run an out route, but Banks, as soon as you see the out move, he's running to the go route.
Yep.
Now you got a free reign to jump that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that's the part of the game that a lot of these young guys, being a part of it, they don't get, because now they just plan on their individual talent that don't keep them there long.
Right.
You gotta have it.
Yeah, the CFL game is predicated on. I played before Corey came in my 3rd year, because we got him in the 06.
In the draft, yeah.
I had signed with the Chiefs after that 2nd year, 05, and then came back, and that's when we got Corey in the dispersal draft.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. Wally, hey, man, look, we're getting Corey Banks. We're going to put him in the boundary with you. We think that's going to be a real good deal. Because I had played, like, I kind of had a revolving door next to me after Mark Washington, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So we were running through guys. And, man, when we got Corey, man, I was blessed and fortunate to have a 10-year run with Corey playing next to me. And then we was homeboys outside of football. Like, That's my brother. You know what I mean? I lived in the A. He lived in the A. Our families was good. And we hung out so much to the point where we ain't have to talk. We ain't have to do, we just knew. We was just, like, play. Like, it was in sync. And it'll never be. And like I said, I'm a grinder. I work. So I'm not now 7 years retired, I could look back and be like, damn, we made a lot of damn plays, man. So I'll watch clips and stuff, and it's amazing the things we were able to do over there. And I don't think that'll never happen again, because like you said, they're not gonna keep guys together that long anyway.
No, Not like
And
those. I mean, even Toronto's secondary with Ivory
yeah,
and Bonner and Steinhauer and Kenny Wheaton and all those guys. Man, they were together for like 5 straight years.
yeah. The code,
Fletcher, Michael Fletcher, and O'Shea and Ivan was always at linebacker. Sam and like it was like the same guys.
yeah. Yep. And you can become very successful when you allow your guys to gel and be cohesive, and then you keep them together and let them play. Like
Yep.
the and this is going into another subject, but the whole ratio thing. Like I have as a fan of football, let the best play, man.
That's
Like
it.
that's it. Because we don't care about no passport. I don't care if you red, brown, from Mars, Pluto. Look, if you good enough, you gonna play. And I
Yep.
think and this is from us as players. If the American guy is the best at his position, which 9 times out of 10 he is because of the ratio, right?
Yep.
Then you got to pay him accordingly. Now you take a Canadian player that plays that same position, and you'll pay him double what you pay an American guy. That's ludicrous.
Well, that's just always supply and demand,
Yeah.
right? Like they say, it's easier to go find an American to replace it than it is a Canadian.
But how long did you play, Nick?
14.
And I got 11 in Canada, right?
Yeah.
If it's that easy to go find, you can't find a Nick on every corner in America.
No, you can't.
You can't find a Dante. I mean, I played for the shrewdest GM in the business. He didn't give a damn. So for me to get 11 straight years out of, BC was some hard work on my end, but they trying to replace you every year. So if that was the
That's
case,
the goal.
was the case, we wouldn't have been up there that long. At least not with that team. So I don't buy into that thought process, because you can't go find these players in America like that. Because if you did,
No, you're right. You can't go find the caliber, right? But the issue I have with the ratio is the fact that the 6th lineman makes more than half of your starters.
yeah,
I think last year our 6th lineman was making like 160, and he probably played 20 plays, maybe 25 plays, right? So then it's just like you're wasting money because, well, you need that 6'0" lineman. So he's valuable because if somebody goes down, you need him, right? So you have to pay him because of the ratio. The ratio keeps guys like that getting paid. Whereas if you only had like 5, like you keep the same amount of Canadians on the team, but you just reduce the starters to 4 or 5.
right.
Now these Canadians have to compete with each other. I got to go get better to be one of the top 4 Canadians to play.
Right, that part.
Right? We don't want to take your jobs away. Yeah, keep the same amount of Canadian jobs. You can keep the ratio the same like that, but you got to lower that number so now you have the best Canadians playing. Last year, we played 9 Canadians a couple games. We started 9 Canadians. Some of them were just better in certain positions, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we didn't have a problem saying, no, we only got to start 7. We're only going to start 7. Like, our job is to put the best team on the field. So if you say 4 is the number and you have 6 great Canadians, you're playing 6 Canadians.
Right.
But at least they're going to grind to be one of the better players. They're not just going to say, well, I know I'm Canadian. I'm going to be a part of the CFL for the next 10 years. And you have a lot like that.
Right, and that's the issue, being in those that Canadian Football League locker room for 11 seasons. I seen that. I seen it. I was come to camp very comfortable when, even though I was making 6 figures 9 of my 11 seasons up there, I still had to come with that rah, because they trying to get you up out of there.
Yep.
So I just felt like that dilutes the quality of the game in a sense, because you, like you said, you got guys that know, hey man, my passport gonna keep me here. I ain't gotta be good. I'm gonna be here.
Mark Calix, he knew coming in. He didn't even get in on defense ever. He wouldn't even go in on defense in practice. He's like, I'm not playing defense. I'm here for special teams. I'm playing for 13, 14, 15 years. All I'm going to do is run down special teams. I'm a pro.
Right.
So, Nick,
And
sorry, Nick, we're getting close to the end of our show. I think you're on a bit of a time limit. So I do have a couple quick questions for you.
Okay.
On this episode of 3rd and 1 with Nik Lewis. You didn't know with Nik Lewis. Here we go. Favorite NFL team And I already know I don't like the answer.
Cowboys.
I already knew it. I'm a record.
Cowboys. Hey, I told you we're gonna win if somehow Dak break a fingernail and we get Andy Dalton in there, we're gonna win some games.
Yeah. Favorite music artist?
Oh man, so many. I've gravitated so much to country music lately, man. It's just like I'm really liking Luke Combs.
Okay.
And I like Garth Brooks too. I listen to a lot of Garth Brooks.
Being from Texas, right? Gotta like that country.
Yeah. But I listen to country and R&B. Like before games, I used to listen to Beyonce, Adele, and things like that.
Okay.
Because for me, I didn't want to listen to hip hop to get me pumped up for 10 minutes. I want to listen to something to make me think my family done sacrificed for me, and I'm playing for the love with the love in my heart, and not the shit in my mind, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You on a different passion when you play for love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
when you know
I hear
who's
ya.
sacrificing for you, and you see the dude, you know what I'm saying? You out there for a different reason.
Yeah, for sure. I respect that. Yeah. Okay. So if you were stranded on an island and could choose one person to keep you company, who would it be?
My wife get on my nerves.
Rosario Dawson.
Man, I'd say my cousin, Myra. Yeah, we would hang out. We'd find some stuff to get into.
What was your first car?
1998 Ford Taurus. So it was a new Ford Taurus, gold.
Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Mike, that's easy.
Thank you. Good one. Shower or bath?
Shower. I still don't understand the whole concept of a bath. You get your dirty ass in a bath, and then you stand up and wash it off, and then you sit back in the dirty water to clean the soap off.
Yeah. And there's
So
basically
aren't you in the same position you was just in?
you're getting out, you're dirty.
I used to do it like we didn't have a shower when I was growing up. So I just get a little bit of water, rinse off, and as I stood up, I let the water out and then ran new water to,
Yeah. Smart man. Right? Do aliens exist?
Yes. I think there's many forms of life.
What scares you the most?
Not trying.
Perfect. All right, so that does it for this episode of You Didn't Know with Nik Lewis. I don't know if you guys want to continue on for a little while, or if Nick, you got to roll out, or.
Yeah, I got an interview to do here in about 20 minutes, but I just got to drive. I got about 5 more minutes though.
You have 5 more minutes to chop it up with Dante.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right.
That's the best part about this, man. I love the fact that y'all are doing this. I love the fact that, there's so much opportunity and space in what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get you on the Lulu Logic podcast and everything else going on, man, because this is what it's about.
Like I said, Nick, there were times I wanted to give up. There were times where I thought to myself, what the hell am I doing and why am I doing this? I got up today and I second guessed myself with my girlfriend. I thought, I got Nik Lewis on today. What am I doing? And I thought it was a pretty good show,
Oh, it's great. That's it. And that's the thing, man. There's, like I told you before, there's always room for greatness.
Yeah.
If you ain't trying to be great, then you'll never find your space.
That's right. And I think a lot of that too is I told her too, and I said, doubting myself is a good thing because I'm not jumping into something. I'm thinking about, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to achieve it, where I'm going to go with it. I'm not just jumping into, and I do this with my whole life. It's not just this show,
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
but
going to be one you. Look, ask Dante.
Oh,
He was 34 and got a nose ring. Went through a midlife crisis.
I didn't have no midlife crisis. I didn't have a midlife crisis. I was just I had always wanted to get my nose pierced, right? I just never did it. And, why not? I'm even at 41. I don't work a real job. I am an adjunct professor at a junior college and a defensive coordinator. Then I work at a high school. Then I train on the side. Like I am loving my life. Like,
that's it.
So we just, we doing what we do. We'll always be kids at heart. Nick, you know that. in that locker room. I played till I was 35 years old. That's dinosaur age at corner.
Yeah.
So I'm still a kid, and even at 41, I'm in such good shape that I'm not a normal 41-year-old man out here. Like I'm like in my 20s.
I put your name on the list though.
On what?
We've been messing around with this. The only way the Atlantic schooner is going to jump off would be to call them the Atlantic Legends.
Hey, let's do it.
And I said the receivers would be Chad Owens, Romby Bryant, Fred Stamps, myself, G-Roy, and Milt. But we playing every other week. So if we get like 2 rosters, and then everybody can play like every other week.
you get a bye week to rest up.
Oh, we're gonna bust all these kids' ass.
I'm telling
we might go 16-2.
Oh no, easy. Who gonna be the QB?
Ricky Ray and KG.
Ooh, talk dirty to me. But no, like I said, you gotta love what you do, and if you love anything that you're doing, it's not work. Like when I played, like people don't know, I lifted weights on game day in the morning. We got 7 o'clock at night. I'm getting it. Like this is just it's if I told you the way I did it for 12 seasons, people be like, damn, that's a lot. But no, it was just my regimen. Even during the week, I'm lifting before the 9 o'clock meeting. And I'm in there listening.
You knew what you needed.
Yeah, Rick James, Luther Vandross. See, you come from that era I come from. I didn't need to listen to all this Lil Wayne shit to get hyped for a game because I'm already hyped.
Yeah.
Making love. You know what I'm saying? Because I love him. So I listen 100%. To Erica Bauer games, all type of shit. It's what because it's in here, right?
Yeah.
But man, you got to get me on your podcast, man. And I was supposed to get up there to Calgary and guest coach. Dave put it all together, but then COVID hit. So
yeah,
I'm trying to jump on into that up there and see if I like it. Coaching the CFL game. I think I would probably like it.
It's cool. A lot of hours, not a lot of money. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's good, man. It's always good to give back and have those, just that capacity to teach and want to see the greatness in others and help them reach that and obtain that. So that's one of the biggest things. And man, y'all keep doing this podcast though, because that's what it's about. This is a time we're in with greatness, and the best part is I'm launching a media company. So huge. I'll be hitting you up soon. And we work together on some things, and that's the biggest thing right now is the empowerment of athletes, right? We're going to empower athletes to make millions of dollars. And so I got a great team with me, and I'm heading in the great direction. And, just continue to grind this out, man. I appreciate y'all invite to get on here. And
thanks, Nick.
Definitely would love to have you on the Lulu Logic podcast, man, because this what it's about, right? Just getting out here and doing the work.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Nick. I really appreciate you taking out the time to come on. And a lot of times it's me trying to find our guests, so I might have to get you to do some dirty work for me one day. And
let me know
if trying to reach out to anybody.
I got a list. And I tell everybody to do podcasts. I said you should never turn down somebody else's podcast.
Why not?
Because that's an opportunity. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but that's an opportunity for you to get your vision out, right? Somebody hears you speak, right? Then they're like, oh, well, let me check out his podcast. Then they like it. So now you're bringing more viewership to yours. So, man, you should always do and always help each other, man. Like I tell people now, Dante, I'm one of the fiercest competitors, most passionate competitors that people will ever meet. But now I don't compete anymore. I can only support you. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's all I want to do is support you and be a lifeline if I can be for those around me. And, it happened for a reason. So now it's time for me to just finish it off.
Because like you said, the biggest thing is a lot of people outside of us, they don't know how articulate and intelligent you are. Like I know for myself, for example, speaking to reporters, remember I had dreads, I had a mouthful of gold teeth. Oh, wow. So once they start talking, they looking at me all crazy. I'm like, yeah, I just look like this, man. I ain't stupid. We're not dumb jocks. So what you said is important for people to be able to get more intimate in a sense kind of see, you know, how we tick. But definitely, man, I'm gonna come on your podcast, man. Let me know.
Yeah, because I did mine because there's so many great stories, right? Mine's
Absolutely.
about your journey, and everybody thinks it's easy. From Alex Singleton getting cut 7 times in 1 year to almost giving it up. So there's so many guys that they were at that point where, you know what, maybe this ain't for me. And then they got that one last phone call. Charleston Hughes calling teams, faking like he's an agent representing himself, right?
Yep.
To get to Calgary. And now he's 28 sacks on the all-time leader in sack history and CFL history, right? So it's like there's so many great stories that need to be told because we got kids out here that's failing and think that their life is over when it's just beginning. Like, we all failed. Like, this is how we got here. I was the Division II walk-on. Nobody ever gave me anything. It wasn't like I was ever handed anything. You know what I'm saying? So these stories have to be told, and I'm just glad I have a platform to get them told. So definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you again, man. That's awesome. I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks again for coming on, Nick. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, can you pass me Dante's number? And I'm going to send y'all
Hold on, I'm going to put it in the chat. Hold on real quick.
I'm going to send y'all a boomerang.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to send y'all a boomerang.
Thanks,
and,
Nick.
Yeah, we're going to keep it going.
For sure.
All right, y'all have a great one.
Thanks, Nick. You too.
Peace.
Peace out.
Thank you for joining us this week on this episode of 3rd and 1. Please remember to subscribe, leave a review, or share this show.